Good afternoon, Alamo Warriors. I thank everyone for coming out and joining us for our second town hall. Unfortunately, we had to cancel last Friday due to the abrupt holiday that we all received, but I know no one didn't mind taking that day off, so that was great that we received it. But we still wanted to have an opportunity to get out the information on the brigade, so we're giving you a pre-recorded town hall. And if there are any questions or concerns that need to be addressed, be sure to just send them up through your command channels, and Command Sergeant Major Smith and I will make sure we get the answers back down to your respective station or company. Sergeant Major, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. So, greeting warriors. Good morning, good afternoon, or whatever time it is that you're watching this pre-recording. Hey, team, it's always good to communicate with you by whatever means necessary to get the information out. And bottom line, your questions, your comments, your concerns, that helps the commander and I to make this organization a better place to work and recruit for you and your families. So I'm super excited to get to your questions. I'm super excited to express and show you what we have planned for the brigade, and looking forward to meeting you out there in the field once we do our battle circulation. That's all I have, ma'am.
All right, thank you. All right, let's go into the Alamo Warrior Award recognition. Sergeant Major, over to you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. All right, so first quarter, I'm going to run down the list of soldiers and battalions that's being recognized for Q1 and Q2. Top battalion, we have Dallas Recruiting Battalion. The top company, McKinney Company, Fort Charlie 1. First quarter top RA and second quarter top RA recruiter, Sergeant Rafael Rivero, San Antonio Battalion. Top Army Reserve recruiter is Staff Sergeant Wynn from Houston Battalion. Top battalion for is Dallas Battalion for Q3. And our top company from Denver Battalion is Western Slope Recruiting Company, Recruiting Detachment. Way to go, detachment. Our top recruiter is Sergeant Rafael Rivero again from San Antonio Recruiting Battalion. And our top Army Reserve recruiter is Sergeant Maya from out there in Houston. Congratulations to you all.
All right, thank you, Sergeant Major. And we have up next some more Alamo Warrior recognitions, starting off with our Sergeant Audie Murphy Club winners.
All right, let's take the time to recognize our Sergeant Audie Murphy Club winners. Sergeant First Class Carla Thomas from the Dallas Recruiting Battalion. Staff Sergeant Kara Howard from the Dallas Recruiting Battalion. Staff Sergeant Jacob Kehoe from the Phoenix Recruiting Battalion. And Staff Sergeant Dylan Severson from the Kansas City Recruiting Battalion. Congratulations on your new induction to the Sergeant Audie Murphy Club. Looking at our brigade third quarter winners, we were just selected last week in Galveston. First Sergeant of the quarter goes to First Sergeant Jermaine Maddox from Phoenix Battalion. Station Commander of the quarter, Staff Sergeant Jonathan Walker from Oklahoma City Battalion. Regular Army NCO of the quarter, Staff Sergeant Deanne, and to make sure I'm saying this correct, Ledesma from the Oklahoma City Battalion. And the Army Reserve NCO of the quarter, Sergeant Joanna Bennett from the Oklahoma City Battalion. So OKC did their thing and took it home last week. For the brigade third quarter runner-ups, First Sergeant of the quarter went to First Sergeant James Baker, Denver Battalion. Station Commander of the quarter, Sergeant First Class Jared Weldon, the Dallas Battalion. Regular Army NCO of the quarter, Sergeant First Class Rosemarie Carter, San Antonio Battalion. And Army Reserve NCO of the quarter, Sergeant Jade Strong, Houston Battalion. Congratulations to all of you all, and job well done.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, up next we have some more Alamo Warrior recognitions.
Wow.
However, this section focuses on our civilian recognition. So, Sergeant Major, take it away.
I'll tell you, team, we could not do this without our civilians, so it's one team. So I am proud to announce Mr. Larry Beer from Denver Battalion, the ESS, a Certificate of Achievement. Congratulations. Mr. Jeffrey Uthoven, Kansas City, our waivers analyst, Certificate of Achievement. Congratulations. Miss Christina Hines, Oklahoma City Battalion, also a Certificate of Achievement. Mr. Mark Lovin, out here in San Antonio, also received a Certificate of Achievement. and Miss Erica Torres from Phoenix Battalion, working right in the social media section there, receiving a certificate of achievement. Mr. Chris Boats O'Shana, Phoenix Battalion, certificate of achievement. And also military recognition as well. We have Sergeant First Class Brandon Howland and Sergeant First Class David McGuffley, right here at the Brigade headquarters, have both received Impact Achievement Medals. Congratulations to our civilian and military soldiers.
It's wonderful to see so much recognition out there. Certainly everybody's doing a job well done, day in and day out. So that's really wonderful to see. Up next, we have our COVID-19 update. So today we have Major Juliet Thomas, our 5th Brigade nurse, who is here to give us the update. What's going on with COVID-19 out here?
Good afternoon, Alamo Warriors. We have come a long way since our last update on COVID-19 at the last town hall meeting. The United States is now at 52.4% with 1 dose, and we are at 43.4% fully vaccinated. 5th Recruiting Brigade is at 22.7% with 1 dose and 17.3% fully vaccinated. Please keep in mind that when you watch this video, our numbers may be slightly elevated as Americans continue to get vaccinated. So if it is your preference, we recommend that you do go get vaccinated so that we can continue to increase those numbers and get those masks off. Our vaccination priority groups has changed. I don't know if you remember at the last town hall meeting, we were vaccinating in phases at that time, but it is now opened up to everyone 12 years and older. So we no longer have to wait for your phase to open. If you are older than 12 years old and you want to get the vaccination, go ahead and go get it. There are many places that are open everywhere. You can look online or you can reach out to us and we can provide locations that you can go get your vaccination. In May, the CDC and the DoD updated their mask guidelines. For personnel that are fully vaccinated, and by fully vaccinated, we mean that you are 2 weeks beyond your final dose, you are no longer required to wear your mask indoors or outdoors at DoD facilities. Personnel who are not fully vaccinated will continue to follow the previous DoD mask guidelines to include wearing masks indoors. When in a work setting, 5th Recruiting Brigade personnel must wear a mask if there are 2 or more people that are not fully vaccinated in that same setting. This requirement also applies if the vaccination status is not known of 2 or more individuals in that setting. Personnel should continue to comply with CDC, state, and local COVID-19 mandates as restrictions continue to lift across the nation. And that concludes our COVID-19 vaccine update.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Major Thomas, for bringing us the latest information as we continuously try and stay safe and healthy out there. Up next, we have Colonel Jordan with the state of the brigade.
Yes, team, we'll open up talking about our mission. So as we start to pivot into our 4th quarter mission, let's look at where we ended phase line June. So we wrapped up phase line June at 58.6% for regular Army and 62% for Army Reserve. Not where we wanted to be as an organization and definitely not what we're capable of as a brigade. But as our environment starts to open up and things start to change and we pivot out of this COVID pandemic, I think there is more than enough opportunity for us to excel at achieving the brigade's mission. I do understand, and I've had this conversation with numerous individual recruiting NCOs when I'm out on battlefield circulation about the economic stimulus that's going on in our country and how we are competing against not only that stimulus, but the other McDonald's, Chick-fil-A's, the gas stations, and every other industry in the world that is also where we are. They're trying to recruit and they're trying to bring personnel on board. We understand, we know it's out there. But what the Sergeant Major and I ask you all to do is just continue to drive forward, be focused on the mission, focus on being successful, and I think things will start to look in our favor here in the next couple months. That is definitely a conversation that I've had with our higher headquarters. You know, we're seeing it in the footprint when our recruiting NCOs are going out and potential applicants are telling us, well, I can make more money staying at home collecting my unemployment than I can joining the Army. We know that it's there, but do understand that too shall pass, and we will have our target audience available, and those incentives won't be out there as dangling carrots to kind of keep them from wanting to seek an Army opportunity. So I ask you all to just be patient, continue to be resilient, and know that this too will pass, and we'll be back on glide path to where we need to be to achieve our brigade mission. Sergeant Major, over to you for any additional comments.
Thank you, ma'am. So team, we know that each one of you all work extremely hard to enlist soldiers into our Army. Recruiting is not an easy task. It's a very, very difficult job. So just to put it in a little bit of perspective, for Phase Line June, we floored, or we put almost 2,000 applicants down there at the maps, combined between regular Army and Army Reserves. Now, as hard as you work to enlist those applicants in the Army, we have to work just as hard to keep them in the Army. So we took a proportionate, large number of losses during that phase line of soldiers for apprehensions, mostly seniors that did not want to go onto the training bases. So we are asking that each one of you all, recommit and actually look back into your formations, your future soldier formations. They are our responsibility to make sure that they remain physically fit, morally fit, and they get to the training bases so we do not, so the Army, will have the bodies that they need to continue to train. So thanks for what you do. We know you're working hard, and let's also put emphasis on that future soldier program as well.
All right. And just one last point to make, as we continue to pivot out of COVID, the opportunities for more face-to-face events are out there. Yeah. So not just face-to-face events that are being sponsored at the battalion level, look at doing things at the company and station level to engage your future soldiers, to engage their influencers and the local community to help you in your recruiting efforts.
Cool. All right.
All right. And so now we go into the leadership and recruiting comments.
Definitely. So I'll start off with this one, man. So, we want to talk about intrusive and intensive leadership. And that does not mean just your station commanders and or your company level. That is all of us. We are all non-commissioned officers out here in this command in 5th Brigade. So we really have to understand what our jobs are. And we really need to make sure that all of us understand what we're here to do. So for those leaders out there, we got to make sure we counsel our subordinates on the mission, on what we are asking them to do. And we have to do it often. And when that exceeds, we have to put that down as well. Recommend them for those awards, recommend them for those achievement awards, those passes, or what have you like that, because it's super important that we know what we're going to do. And then it also helps us take care of the squad, because this is our squad, and we will understand what the soldiers need as far as a resource to recruit, and also get their ideas on how we can better recruit for our Army. Over to you, ma'am.
All right, thanks, Sergeant Major. So just to kind of caveat and talk about when Sergeant Major mentioned the intrusive leadership, I think if you have the slides in front of you or you see it, it says intensive, but it should be intrusive leadership. And when we talk about intrusive leadership, some may remember this as engaged leadership. At this level and being in recruiting, it is very important that we are engaging or being very intrusive to our subordinates. At the leadership level, we have to know what's going on. Sergeant Major hit the nail on the head. Recruiting is very, very, very stressful. It's a stressful job. You've got that one mission, and everybody's always looking at numbers and chasing numbers, and that can put a lot of pressure on people. And then you compound that with any type of financial issue that's going on, any type of marital issue that's going on, or family life stressors that individual is dealing with, and you've got a recipe for disaster. I know good news travels fast, but bad news travels faster. And in the last 60 days, unfortunately, we lost 2 of our recruiting non-commissioned officers to suicide in the organization. And this is where it goes back to our subordinate leaders, making sure that leaders are present, making sure that we're communicating, making sure that we're talking to individuals to find out what is going on with them. Because sometimes things that are going on in the backdrop in an individual's personal life will impact how well they perform. And if these are questions that we're not asking, or we're not peeling back the onion to see what's really going on with that individual, we're doing them and their family a disservice. Now, you all that see me in person, you've heard me say, yet the mission is important, but the people are what's very important, because without people in this organization, there is no mission. So it's people first, mission always. And we have to understand that. And we get caught up in the numbers, and we get caught up in, ensuring that we make our requirements for each phase line, but we can't lose sight of what's going on in the lives of our individual recruiting NCOs. And if people are going through things, or they have problems, or even as an individual, if you feel you need to take a tactical pause, then I encourage you to do that, because you have to be there for your family. Not just the Army family, but your personal family. Because if you're not taking care of home, then I don't expect that you're going to be expect you to be very successful on the job. So we have resources available in the brigade. There are external resources available on the MTFs as well as your community. But definitely reach out and let us know when that is needed, because we do not want to lose another recruiting NCO or anyone in this formation, because a permanent solution to a temporary problem is never the answer. Remaining flexible and being adaptive. We have all proven that we have the ability to do that. The last 14 plus months of working in this COVID environment has thrown us some tremendous curveballs. But for the most part, this organization has been extremely resilient and been able to adapt TTPs, utilizing the proper PPE to kind of overcome what the COVID restrictions in your respective area and get out there and recruit. Sergeant Major, anything you want to add?
Well, I actually want to move down to talk about routine things routinely, and actually back to grassroots of recruiting, because that really talks about flexibility and adaptive. So across our entire footprint, across all 7 battalions and 14 states, the society is really starting to pull back some of the COVID restrictions, and we're seeing a lot more recruiting events, in-person events, festivals, fairs, rodeos, and what have you. And that's great, because we really need to get back out there and be the face of the Army within our communities. With that being said, about 550 or 500, close to 600 non-commissioned officers did join this organization during a period that we had no in-person events. We had no fairs or carnivals. So what we really need to do is back to the basics. I'm asking all leaders, I'm asking all seasoned non-commissioned officers that was in recruiting prior to COVID to make sure that we take our battles under our wing to out there the face-to-face prospect. Show them the basics of recruiting operation and what that looks like to recruit face-to-face before we're just launching everybody out there. So it's really going to take everybody's individual effort, not just leaders and station commanders and company commanders and first sergeants, to get after this grassroots recruiting as society opens back up. So we have to be routine with it. We have to get back face-to-face, and we have to do that really, really well.
All right, so let's look at finishing FY21. As a brigade, we will finish strong. And the Sergeant Major and I can't do it at our level. We need you all to get out there and get after it, because we know you are more than capable to achieve the mission and get it done. And when we look at achieving the mission, I think there's four key points that drives it. Leadership, we've got to have the right leadership in place at the company and station level. We make sure that we're holding each other accountable. If you're not holding yourself or your battle buddy accountable, then sometimes we kind of lose focus and lose our way. Communication. Communication is key, and we've got to make sure that the right information is being disseminated down to the lowest level. And it's hard when you start passing information. By the time it gets down to the executor, sometimes it's lost some of its fidelity. But when things don't seem like they make sense, or it doesn't make sense, then I encourage you to ask the right questions. And the last one is present. For the command teams at the battalion and the company level, as well as station commanders, we have to be present. We can't expect our subordinate recruiting NCOs to go out there and get after the mission if we're not doing what we're supposed to do as leaders. Sergeant Major, over to you for any closing remarks.
So I would say, team, I am super excited with the direction that fourth quarter is going. As we look at all of the events that you're planning, and I've seen your Facebook posts, so you are out there in the community, we have no doubt that this brigade will achieve its fourth quarter mission and close out FY 21 strong as we continue to build towards 22.
All right, and just looking at the way ahead, as with any organization in the United States Army, we're coming up on the summer months, and with summer months comes leader transition and transition of your recruiting NCOs in your station. So just highly encouraged to make sure you've got transition plans in place. If they haven't been utilized, dust them off to prepare that next individual that's coming to replace you for success. Battalion Org Day, we had placed 2 days on the calendar, the first Friday in June. I think I've only had one unit to take advantage of the June date, but hopefully for 6 August, every organization is planning to take the downtime and get out there and enjoy themselves for Org Day. And please ensure that we include families, because that's very important. The family unit needs to be just as strong and resilient as our non-commissioned officers. Strong bond events or marriage enrichment retreats, we are definitely pushing them from our level. We've had 3 thus far in the brigade. Dallas Battalion is scheduled to kick theirs off on Thursday. And we also have the brigade chaplain looking at some other, maybe smaller scale events that can be done to take care of our recruiting NCOs and their families. You want me to talk that last one?
So team, we have in the last half of September, we have what we call our semi-annual planning conference. So that is when all the key leaders from the 3 shops and some of your XOs will be here in Joint Base San Antonio's, really laying out the year for the brigade. So where you come into that is we really need any of those special or particular events that you have at the station level that you really want to do. Make sure you pass that up to your company command team and eventually up to the battalion to make sure that we're tracking that, we can resource that, we can plan for it, and we can make sure you get the events on the calendar that you really want to do. So that's 22 September through the 30th September. Get your events into your company command teams so we can have visibility on it here at the brigade.
All right, and then just one last note on that planning conference. Definitely the intent is to synchronize events from what we get at the USAREC level down to the station level. I've seen a lot of remarks and feedback where there's always concerns about the last minute hayus or the last minute changes. So we're trying to lay out the calendar year going into FY22 to provide better predictability and more synchronization across the organization from the brigade level down to the battalions. Great.
Okay.
All right, ma'am. Sergeant Major, thank you very much for that information, the motivation, and the guidance as we look to finish strong for FY21 and move strategically into FY22. So very good information. Lots of things to look forward to that you just laid out as the way ahead. And prior to having to reschedule and do this live to tape version of the virtual town hall, we had received some questions from the force. So we are happy and thrilled to be able to have this venue to be able to answer those questions that did come in. And speaking of looking ahead, we did have our first question come in about the BOSS and the Strong Bonds program. Can more Strong Bonds activities be made available for single or married soldiers? Recruiting can be high stress in certain environments, and a getaway to relieve stress would be well received and allow soldiers and their families to reset.
Yeah, definitely. The colonel, the boss, just kind of answered a little bit of that on a few seconds ago. So right now, our unit ministry team, Chaplain Scott and his team, we can do 2 events per quarter. Although we are trying to expand that to do a few more grassroots at the company and station level. So the goal is across the entire 7 battalions that we really want to conduct 1 Strong Bonds event per battalion and conduct a brigade-wide single soldier retreat per year. And with the Strong Bonds events and with the single soldiers retreat, I encourage each one of you all to try to get in on those slots. Even if we say that there's no more slots available, put your name in on the list, invite your families and leaders as well, because they are good events. So we will be executing those. I believe you said Dallas is next. So take a look at that for your battalion and see when we're coming near you, and make sure you get your name in that event.
All right. Going into our next question. Previously pushed out by Defenders 6 and 7, when we entered the 3rd quarter, we would be starting with a clean slate. Was that ever finalized? And if so, does that mean the unit deficit from the 1st and 2nd quarter are eliminated?
Well, what happened is USAREC reset the mission at the end of the 2nd quarter. And for those of us in 5th Brigade, we kind of, I think we lost our reset because we got hit by the snowstorm in the Texas area. And then Denver got hit by a snowstorm. Denver and Kansas City and OKC got hit a couple weeks later. So to me, we lost out on the reset. But the reset did happen after 2nd quarter. But what will occur is the delta from the first half of FY21 still exists in the system for historical record keeping.
Yeah.
So.
Good answer. Good answer. I feel like I'm One of those game shows. Good answer. Let's see here. So our next question goes back to the senior program. They're wondering, can we bring back the 14-month senior program?
Okay, so right now the command team is not looking to bring back that program, and right now, but where we're in June, right? So you're going to be within the 365 coming up this month and probably next month. So you should be able to go ahead and contract your seniors. Not all MOS's training is loaded right now for the seniors, so that's where you may be getting some pushback, but we do anticipate that coming in the system probably somewhere around fourth quarter or first quarter of 22. So keep looking, keep checking the system for your seniors because it will get loaded soon.
All right, and something I know that is near and dear to all of us and our pocketbooks is pay. So one of the questions that came in next is, can the companies currently receiving recruiting incentive pay expect to see that moving into the next fiscal year? If so, will the non-participating companies get another mission decrease that will be distributed amongst the participating companies?
That's an excellent question. So for the recruiting incentive pay, right now we have companies from 2 battalions participating. I have not heard that it will not move into the next fiscal year, but understand that that is a pilot program, and what they're trying to do is obtain enough data points from the program to kind of roll up the statistics and push it up to headquarters DA. So I will say, ironically, when you do the internal analysis and look at those companies that have stations participating in the recruiter incentive pay, there has not been a significant increase in contract performance. So don't know, and we have not heard at the command level, Sergeant Major Smith and I, we haven't heard what they're going to do with the data or when there's going to be a cutoff point for them to consolidate that to send it up to headquarters DA. But right now, we haven't heard anything different, so it should continue into the next fiscal year, but do not know when the program will expand. And as far as mission decrease, no, brigade level mission hasn't decreased, and I'm sure the battalions will continue to equitably distribute it down at the company level as well.
Okay, and talking about promotions now, our next question comes in and they ask, will there be more opportunities for soldiers who do not plan to convert to attend schools during their time spent on recruiting duty to remain competitive for promotion in their respective MOS?
Oh yes, I take that one. So bottom line is team, we want to return you back to the operational Army either in a better posture that you was in, and we want to make sure that you maintain your certifications. So NCOs, yes, you can attend school. Go through your training shop. It's a 4187. They're endorsed by your company commander, battalion commander, and we'll write it up through G3. The typical schools that we normally see are airborne battle staff, EO, and some other leader certs. But I do know we do have some specific MOSs like our 68 series that are required to maintain their certifications or they expired, their national certifications. We definitely got to keep you trained, whether it's your table 8s or what have you like that. And if there's any other CMFs or MOSs that have a qualification that will expire during the time that you are on recruiting duty, please bring it to your leadership's attention, and we would try to find the course and find the school to get you in to make sure that you go back to the force ready to go, just like you was when you came here. So, yes.
Okay. And let's see here. So how much consideration is given to the AARs that are provided by the VRS at the end of large named operations such as Army National Hiring Days? Moving forward, we can learn from our mistakes and continue to not only improve our marketing strategy, but the quality of the platforms that were used for these named operations. So again, how much consideration is given to the AARs that are provided?
Yes, AARs are definitely extremely valuable, and we encourage all battalions to collect AAR comments from the lowest level, because really at your level as a recruiting NCO, you're where the rubber meets the road. So you see things that at our level we may either miss or not even have a clue that it's going on. So it's imperative that we receive those AAR comments, and AAR comments of substance, not AAR comments to gripes or complaints, because we'll take that feedback and push it up to higher. Army National Hiring Day, there is a AR scheduled for that event in July. So we'll have an opportunity to have the dialogue with USEREC with what worked and what didn't work. What can we do better next year if Army National Hiring Day is going to be a continued campaign? But that feedback is crucial to shaping operations and developing the fragos and orders for these named operations. And in order for us to really to make the organization better or to make that operation a better operation in the future, your input is definitely imperative, and we will continue to collect it at the brigade level and send it forward to USEREC.
Absolutely, ma'am. And I think that's a team effort, collecting and
Yes.
sending that up for sure. Our next question that comes in revolves around another program. Can we open the CIHS program for active duty?
Okay, so the CHIS program currently in high school for active duty, so we can't do that, team. That program is specifically designed for Compos 1 and 2, so either our Army Reserve Force or our Army National Guard. So active duty soldiers are required to complete all the training at one time and be MOSQ'd and shipped to their first duty station without interruption, and that's the key, without interruption. As you know, that the CHIS program, the student or the soldier has to come back and finish normally their education requirements or some other type of requirement before going back to basic training the following summer. So can't do that one. It's a great question though.
All right. And I learned something new. It's called the CHIS program. Excellent. Okay. Next question goes back to height and weight standards. Can we go back to the old height and weight standards, adding 2% for males and females?
Well, USEREC utilizes the ARMS 2.0 pilot program, so you all should be familiar with that down in the recruiting stations, and it allows for that 2% variance for height and weight. But take a look at the option when you have an applicant that's an alpha with a QT score of 50 or higher, but that does currently exist.
And another topic that has come up before, but I think it's just wanting to be asked again, just in case there are any changes. Can we remove the need for a waiver for marijuana-related charges? It has been decriminalized in 26 states already. This would streamline the process across the command. So they're wondering about the waiver.
Yeah, so team, so definitely that would probably give us some lift in production, but the reality is it's really not an Army rule, it's at the federal level. So the federal government still sees marijuana usage as illegal at the federal level, and we are a federal entity. So right now there's no discussion really to remove that waiver requirement until policy change.
Okay. And our next question surrounds register to wins. We all know that those create a lot of leads. So the question is, can we have station level funding for register to wins?
Well, unfortunately, due to the legalities surrounding budget, and budget is definitely associated with the register to win items, we can't do that. It must be managed at the battalion level because they have the appropriate personnel to manage budgetary resources. But I have not seen any registers to wins that have been denied. Definitely looking for more opportunities coming from the company level on register to wins that you would like to pursue in support of your face-to-face events. So please send them forward and we will get them approved for you.
Okay. And as we look forward, the next question says, when will we start seeing the full range of grad jobs for FY22? And secondly, are DAT waivers going to be approved in fourth quarter?
Okay, so two-part question here. So, so the command, so USEREC, HRC, the CMF. So I guess they load training seats from back to front starting in October. So due to the sessions requirement, the FY22 training seats will populate, each month as the Army ships more people to training. So we should start seeing more training seats. Kind of go back to the other question, starting somewhere this quarter, going into fourth quarter, as the Army continues to assess more. And DAT waivers. So DAT waivers will not open up in the foreseeable future. No, it's not the information that a lot of you all want to hear, but right now, again, DAT waivers are not planning to open up in fourth quarter or the foreseeable future.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up the questions that we have received so far. We have another virtual town hall scheduled for, I want to say, September 17th. So we will see folks back again for the next virtual town hall, and hopefully we get to execute that one live. But wonderful questions from everybody. We do thank you. And ma'am, Sergeant Major, if you'd like to close with your closing remarks.
All right, Sergeant Major, over to you.
Well, thanks, ma'am. So, a team, as I said before in the opening, I am extremely excited about fourth quarter and the direction that this brigade is going into. You know, with society opening up, the events are popping back on the calendar. Your events I see live on Facebook continues to pop into my feed, so those are exciting to see. And I will tell you, we can achieve this mission. We will achieve this mission, but we're going to do it working together. We're going to do it communicating. We're going to do it maintaining our future soldier pool and also taking care of our squad. So I look forward to seeing you out there in your stations and your company this quarter and this summer. So thank you to you and your families. Ma'am.
All right, thank you, Sergeant Major. So team, just hopefully in the future I'll have an opportunity to see you all, if I haven't already, face to face on some battlefield circulation. Again, appreciate what you all do on a day-to-day basis. My thanks to you as well as your families. Some of the conversations I've had with company commanders and first sergeants, I see a lot of station recognition of our recruiting NCOs, but what I highly encourage you all to do is to make sure we're bringing the family members, now that, you know, COVID is kind of dying down, bring the family members into the stations or wherever you're going to recognize your recruiting NCOs to allow them to be a part of that event, because the family unit is definitely what drives the success of that recruiting NCO, and then that impacts us as a successful organization. You all have all heard me talk about moving the organization forward. I want to leave it better than I found it, and it definitely takes all of us to do that. So with that goes standards, discipline, and communication. And just one key thing I want to talk about from a professional note before we close, the communication piece. At the company level, at the battalion level, at the brigade level, we have an open door policy. And with that, that means if you've got an issue as a recruiting NCO, be it with yourself or your family member, and if it has not been resolved at the company or station level, take it to your battalion command team. If they cannot solve that situation, then I expect you to raise it to Command Sergeant Major Smith and myself. If we can't give you the answer, we're definitely going to go to hire or reach external to the organization to get you the support that you need. But being that we are a professional organization with professional and mature non-commissioned officers, I do not expect to see my recruiting NCOs putting gripes, complaints, or issues out on Recruiter Times. If we want to use Recruiter Times, let's use that as a forum to share TTPs on how we can be successful as individuals and successful as an organization. I think many of you that's had an opportunity to have this conversation, you've heard it, but I definitely want you all to pass it. We're a 2-star level headquarters, just like any other division in the United States Army. We're a professional organization with professional NCOs. So we will act accordingly, and with that, we will win. So until our next virtual town hall, you all continue to do what you do as great Americans and as great NCOs. Thank you.
Recruit like champions.
Win today.